Hey everyone, I'm here today taking a look at the new Master of the Universe Chronicles movie Ram Man and Fisto 2-pack from Mattel. And I'm so glad we're getting these two in the movie because they're two of my favourite heroic warriors. Just a quick look at the packaging. A picture of Ram Man and Fisto kind of facing off against Skeletor going around the side. Then on the back you've got some really good pictures of the toys in different poses. I love that right off the bat you can tell this is Ram Man, like they're really going for authentic costumes for the most part. The moustache kind of throws me off a bit. I'm just not used to Ram Man having a moustache, but other than that, like I love how this guy looks. I think he's a bit thin in the film, but they've buffed up the toy a little bit. But he comes with a few accessories. He's got 4 hands, 2 that are fists, as you can see on this one, so you can have a fist both sides, and 2 that are gripping hands for his axe. The axe doesn't look very much like the vintage axe, but it is still nice that he comes with an axe. It's a bit small though, I think he needs a bigger axe. This is as close as I can get to focus, but there's a little silver skull on the end of his handle of the axe, which is a nice little detail. And the skull looks a bit like it's got horns going around to the back of the head over the top. Sorry, that's as close a view as I can get, but hopefully you can see the detailing on that. This is going to be the same for Fisto as well as Ram Man, so I'm only going to show you once, but this is what the peg looks like on the hands when you pull the hands off. And then just pop the hands back on there, pop on and off pretty easily. You can see that Ram Man is shorter than Fisto, so they're going for a bit of a Filmation-y vibe with Ram Man, which I'm fine with. However, you can kind of make Ram Man taller because his legs will come apart where the boots connect. You can pop these off. They come off pretty easy, like that. And then you can put these extra parts, these kind of yellowy energy blasts, which also have a ring going around like the springs from his legs. And you pop these on, and you have to put the energy blasts on a specific leg. You can't just put either one on either leg, because I don't know if you can tell on camera, but this bit here is thicker on that leg than it is there. So there's the thin part there, a thick part there. So if you try and put the one with the thinner part on there, it won't go on because of that thick bit. So it sort of lets you know which leg you're supposed to put each bit on. And then you put his boots back on there. And now he's taller, but that's obviously when he's doing his spring in action. He doesn't just walk about like this. But they've got like these energy blasts in between the springs. I don't know if it will look like that in the film or if they've just done that as a way of filling in the gaps so they can give him the extended springy legs. It's kind of a cool action feature, if you can call it that. So you can see how that now makes him taller than Fisto. The boots have kind of a mud effect painted on them. I actually thought I'd got them dirty when I first put them down out here and picked it up. I thought, oh, it's got some dirt on his boots, but no, it's painted on. The bottom of the boots there. And the upper part of his armour's got a lot of rust on the chest and on those chains. And kind of a blue effect on his forehead as well. Really nice face sculpt. I'm not familiar with the actor, so I can't say if it's completely accurate to the actor, but it's just a good face sculpt in general. More of that rust effect on the back. Loads of really good paint apps on this. Look at that, every rivet on his skirt there is painted. Now for articulation, head's on a ball joint, so that'll go up and down a little bit. I mean, because of his armour here, it does kind of get in the way, but you can get his head. See, they're going up and down a bit, and obviously from side to side. Arms go out to the side. There's a swivel at the bicep. Double elbow joint. But it's a really weird looking elbow joint. I don't know why they've redesigned it to look like that, because Masterverse weren't like that and Marvel Legends aren't like that. I don't know what the benefit is of it looking like that. It kind of is a shame because it kind of ruins the sculpt. I don't quite understand how that improves the articulation particularly. But yeah, the wrist swivels, and there's a pivot on the wrist as well. So you can kind of bend the wrist in and out like that too, as well as it all swiveling round. Torso has a waist swivel where it's kind of on a ball joint, and then there's another one halfway up the torso as well. So there's a good range of motion there. They both swivel independently of each other. Then the legs go out to the side. The skirt hinders it a bit, but I mean, I don't know why you'd need the legs to spread any more than that on poor Ram Man. You know, and they go up, like the skirt doesn't get in the way of pulling them up like that. Double knee joints, and the swivel at the boot as well. And then the feet are on a ball joint and it pivots up and down, swivels round. if you were to get the ball joint to kind of swivel right around like that, you can get the ankle to pivot too. It's a bit of a job to do it, but you can kind of swivel both joints and get the ball joint around to the point where the ankles will swivel from side to side more. But, you know, it goes up and down. There is a bit of a swivel there anyway, even if you don't do that. But yeah, it's quite a lot of articulation on these. And it'll be the same for Fisto, so I won't go over it again with him particularly, unless I notice anything really different. Here he is with the Masterverse Ram Man, which is taller, because Masterverse is about an inch taller of a scale than this new Chronicles line. But you see what I mean with the axe. Like, it's not just me being a vintage purist. I think that original axe looks better than the movie one. So I wish they'd given him a bit more of a toy accurate axe. Only a bit of a minor nitpick. I mean, that new axe is fine, but I love that original Ram Man style axe that he has there. You can see how close the design is to the vintage style. It's a nigh on perfect live action representation of Ram Man. Though the movie Ram Man doesn't have the skull on the belt, which I always liked on Ram Man, but maybe they thought that would cause confusion as to, like, why would Ram Man have a skull on his belt, because that's, I guess, more of a Skeletor thing. Though Castle Grayskull's got a skull on it, so yeah, I don't know why they didn't give him the skull on the belt. And now for Fisto. Now, other than his hand, he doesn't come with any weapons. He doesn't have his sword like the vintage toy, I guess because his fist is his weapon. But he does come with 4 hands. He's got one gripping normal hand and one fisted normal hand. And then for his metal fist, he's got one that's in an actual fist pose, like this one, and one that's open, almost like Jitsu's hand. So there he is with the open hand, kind of like he's waving at you. Or like he's about to give you a backhander, because he didn't have his dinner ready when he got home. He also has this kind of blast effect thing that goes over his fist, I guess to give the impression of the power of his fist flying through the air, but it just kind of looks like he's got a load of slime stuck on his hand. So personally, I think I'd rather he came with the sword. That flying fist effect just doesn't quite work for me. What do you guys think? He's got a paint wash effect on his boots as well. It's not quite as muddy looking as Ram Man's, but it just looks like there's loads of scuffs and things on his boots. He's got these metal knee pads as well, and then a little bit on his thigh there. And you can see on his arm too, on his non-Fisto-y arm, he's got like these metal bits of armour on his hand and wrist there, on his forearm. And he's got a bit more of a shoulder pad on his left side than on his right. I mean, I guess that helps to balance him out a bit, because he's got a lot of weight on this side of his body. That'd do your back in. So it evens out a bit if he's got a little bit more armour over his shoulder on his left side there. And once again, you know, it's very recognisably Fisto. So on the back there as well is kind of a dirty wash, just to make the armour look a bit worn. Just a bit more of a look at the detailing on Fisto's armour. I love seeing these designs brought to life like this. Now here he is with the Masterverse Fisto. This is the one based on the Revolution cartoon series, but they're actually almost about the same size. Masterverse seemed to get a little bit taller near the end, I noticed, but these earlier Masterverse figures here is pretty much the same size as this Chronicles Fisto. And you see, you know, very similar looking armour, just made a little bit more kind of lifelike and realistic looking. They've even got quite a bit of the blue. He's got trousers in the movie, that's the biggest difference really. And his boots are more of a black in the film, whereas they were that purpley blue colour on the vintage toy. But, you know, there's relatively minor differences. I do wish his fist was a little bit bigger. I doubt they'll touch upon this in the movie, but I always preferred Fisto's Filmation origin, that he was actually originally an evil warrior working for Skeletor who switched sides, rather than in 2000X where they made him Teela's dad and the Sorceress's ex-boyfriend or whatever. I never really liked that stuff. And Man-at-Arms' brother. It was all just a bit too convenient, like fanfic, when you start over-connecting characters like that. I don't have any of the other Chronicles movie figures yet to compare, but I do have the Masterverse 87 movie He-Man, who's quite a bit taller. Though Dolph Lundgren was a really tall guy, so I don't know if this would really scale to real life with the actors. And this figure doesn't look anything like Dolph Lundgren. I don't know if they couldn't get the rights to his face or whatever, but it looks he's a bit been hit by the ugly stick, this He-Man. But it's still cool to have the new and old movie characters together. That's the only thing I'm not keen on with Chronicles being a bit shorter than Masterverse, is that they're not going to scale with the Masterverse 87 figures. And I kind of like the idea of having all my movie He-Man figures together on the shelf, old and new. But here's the difference with the articulation point. I guess it must add to the articulation somehow, having those extra weird bits of detailing there, but I just don't think it looks good. It sort of breaks up the sculpt and takes away that smoothness. And I know with articulation you've got to break up the sculpt, there's no way around it, but that highlights it more, that there's this weird, almost mechanical part to the arms. I don't really like that at all. I don't feel like I needed it. Like, the double joints on Masterverse were fine. There's only so much articulation I need, really. I don't need it super duper, just that tiny extra little bit more articulation. Yeah, it's kind of fine as it was. I suspect that Chronicles is going to replace Masterverse. I can't imagine that Mattel would have two adult collector scale figure lines going at the same time that are just 1 inch apart from each other. And the only thing that really frustrates me about that is that we've not got the complete 87 cast yet. I really wanted to get that. Like in Classics, they only gave us about half the cast, and then Classics stopped. And now Masterverse have only given us half the cast, and they've stopped. At least we've got a few of the different characters this time, though. But still, I want to get a complete cast. At least give me the complete Evil Warriors. Give me Karg and Zorod in Masterverse before you cancel it, please. Though we might get one of the 87 movie characters in Chronicles. I'm not going to say any more, but there is a reason that one of them could appear in the Chronicles line. I actually have a theory that Dolph Lundgren is going to appear in the new movie in a flashback as King Grayskull. I don't know that. I haven't heard this anyway. It's purely what I'm just thinking might possibly happen. And if it does, I hope they have him in that 87 He-Man outfit, because the 87 He-Man outfit is pretty much King Grayskull's outfit, just with metal armour on his shoulders rather than fur. But, you know, King Grayskull had the red cape that He-Man didn't have, so I think that 87 He-Man movie outfit would actually work as King Grayskull. If you've got the Classics Castle Grayskull, these figures scale quite nicely with that. You can see Fisto there in the doorway. Fisto's got a skirt piece that ever so slightly gets in the way of the leg articulation there, so it doesn't go up quite as far as it could do. But it's not too bad. I mean, I've still managed to get him in a seated position here. So other than the elbow articulation looking a bit weird, I really don't have any problems with these figures. The head on Fisto is a little bit loose on that ball joint. I might have to put a bit of nail varnish on it or something to tighten it up. But yeah, in general, these are great figures. But in the UK, these are going for £35 each, Chronicles figures, which for my American viewers is $47. They want the best part of $50 for a 6-inch action figure. How has that happened? Marvel Legends are £25. How are Marvel Legends £10 cheaper than these Master of the Universe figures? Because Hasbro have to pay a license fee to Disney to make Marvel figures, which is quite a high license fee. Whereas, as far as I'm aware, Mattel owns Master of the Universe, so they're getting like 100% of the profits. How are these figures costing so much? It's the same with Origins. Origins were £12 when they came out in 2021. Now 5 years later, they're £20 to £23 in the UK. It's like almost doubled in price. How has that happened in 5 years? We're really getting rinsed over in the UK here. So thanks for joining me for this look at the Master of the Universe Chronicles movie, Fisto and Ram Man 2-pack. Let me know what you think of these guys. Give me a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed the video. It really helps me out. And hopefully I'll see you again soon.